In the summer of 1943, an unknown girl came to the headquarters of a Soviet battalion. She handed the commander an order from the Marine Brigade, which stated that the girl was being sent to their battalion for further service. After reading the order, the commander began to dissuade her, telling her about the hard soldier's service, especially since she came to the front from the second year of medical school and could become a medic in the rear. But in spite of all persuasions, the resolute girl stood on her own. Having passed special courses, she came to the front and wanted to be only a sniper. After a conversation with the commander, she and the whole group of girl snipers who arrived from the course were placed in the area of an abandoned cemetery. In the morning they put their dugouts in order and began to settle down, and in the evening the platoon commander, the famous sniper Grigory Kichmenko, who had 103 German soldiers and officers on his account, had a long talk with the arriving snipers, taught them, gave examples of what happened during the sniper hunt. The next day, before dawn, the girl went on her first mission. But neither on the first nor on the second outing she failed to find a good shooting position. On the third morning she chose another, completely new position, and when it began to dawn, she noticed the rhythmic movements of a shovel throwing earth out of the trench. The enemy was bent over digging something. The heart in the girl's chest somehow especially beat, hands trembled, but this weakness did not last long. Having pulled herself together and calmed down, she waited for the German to show himself. And after a few minutes, unsuspecting opponent mowed to unbend the tired back. The German straightened up, stood up to his full height, and immediately a shot sounded. The enemy fell to the ground, and his shovel remained lying on the barrier. No one else in that course of the message showed up. This was the first enemy killed. So the combat account of the girl sniper was opened and the first notch was made on the butt of the sniper rifle. And on August 15, 1943, as usual, before dawn, she began to move in the direction of the half-destroyed granite monument. In the hollow between the graves grew daisies, tall burdock and large burdocks. It was quiet. She was a few meters away from the monument when she heard a rustle and saw a faint swaying of the grass ahead. Someone was creeping towards her. Then she began to move faster, but more cautiously. When she reached the left side of the monument, she lay down and froze. Rifle at the ready, pistol and grenades lay on the side. And then she saw a German crawling. What she thought at that moment, and how she acted, she could not remember. But her hand somehow snatched a knife from her boot, and in a split second it entered something soft. She didn't remember anything else as she lost consciousness. How much time had passed is not known. When I woke up, everything was back in front of my eyes and I was shivering. Then I gathered my courage and continued the hunt. The position was good, and the Germans did not know that their sniper, who had settled down at the monument, was already dead, so they were not afraid of anything and behaved openly. That day 3 more notches appeared on the butt of the rifle. Almost a month later, on September 10, 1943, she killed her last enemy, who was some officer from a battalion of suicide bombers. That day, she and other men of the battalion landed on the pier during the landing operation in Novorossiysk. They were anchored in the far part, and in the near part the fascists settled down. They noticed the girl with a rifle and shouted that Frau must be taken alive. Then in the breach flashed the face of a German officer, cheeks full, holy, in the eyes laughing. Of course it was reckless, but the girl stood up to her full height and fired. The Nazi jerked forward and hung in the hole. Immediately followed by a return shot, the enemy bullet caught the right shoulder and, slipping, stopped in the left arm. It was the second wound in that battle. The first one was caused by a grenade explosion, a splinter lodged in my leg. I was quickly bandaged, then I took the rifle again and stood up again. A little later, a tank appeared, turned around and began to hit the Soviet position in the building at point-blank range. The wall collapsed, breaking in half. Their 4 soldiers were pelted with debris. The fighting continued onward. On September 16th, at dawn, the Germans began to withdraw. The girl went to the hospital. After treatment and full recovery, she did not take part in the fighting anymore. and for the time spent at the front personally destroyed 185 soldiers and officers of the enemy. She was awarded medals and orders for bravery, for the defense of Odessa, for the defense of Sevastopol, for the defense of the Caucasus, and for the victory over Germany. The name of the girl sniper was Senior Red Fleet Olga Vasilieva.